But as we start things off, we are back on a bit more familiar territory here on Lightshade LE, the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way to bottom right-hand corner. We have our red Protoss player coming down from the land of Seoul, from originally Jeju Island. He is representing Good Game Gaming, GGG. Unhinged Chaos, he is Patience.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Taiwanese Protoss. He is blue. He is representing Team Alpha X. It is nice.
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 I just realized you, you put the O over there.
Oh?
Or the end, yeah.
Huh?
So it's like noise instead of nice. Noise.
Oh boy. And we'll see how nice his PvP is compared to someone like Patience. Oh, he's doing it again! It's the same map!
Oh, the dream is real!
The nightmare is real, if you will, as Patience is going to be proxying that pylon. If you were here for the previous series, you know what this is, or you should know, as previously Patience proxied a Robo against Nightmare.
That he did, and Nightmare, no idea what was coming for him. I mean, he knew something was up, but he didn't scout the one specific position Patience was at.
Yeah, and
in the end, got a fistful of immortals.
I mean, so right now, Nice, he's checking all over the main. He knows that a pylon is missing. He's like, yo, where is it? It's not here. Last time, Nightmare did the same thing, and he scouted all the way to the south and all the way to the north, and he couldn't find the pylon. We'll see if Nice even goes for a scout.
Yeah, right now it looks like he just wants to, bunker up, so to speak, or however a Protoss player can bunker up. And just, play it a lot more defensive. Knows something is coming for him. Now he's starting to scout the south.
Yeah.
But these are all the orthodox proxy locations that Nice is used to looking at.
Exactly. And as we foresaw, it is that proxy robo. Ooh, and Nice is going for a Stargate.
Okay. Getting something a little bit more familiar here, and I'm liking the Stargate a lot more. Get a Phoenix or a Void Ray out, and that Warp Prism is going to have so much less opportunity.
Oh yeah, definitely. It does mean that the gateway production may be a little bit slower, a little bit more vulnerable for Nice, so he does have to be careful, but he is being aggressive across the map with his two Stalkers.
Yeah, may as well try to keep the pressure up here for Patience. I mean, the backbone of his army is going to be very far into the front, and actually also keeps the Adepts back at home. If you recall, in the game versus Patience, or the game versus Nightmare, sorry, one of the reasons why Patience was able to get this done so effectively, despite how many Stalkers Nice had, was because he had the Adepts to buffer for them. Now actually revealing his hand very early.
Yeah, again, like, because Nice was so aggressive, like, he also forces Patience to even come back home with this Immortal to help deal with that pylon, and yeah, as you said, like, he just he shows his hand.
Oracle's coming in light. Where's the anti-air for Patience?
Oh god, there is one. It just finishes in time.
This could have been disastrous. I was getting flashbacks to Nice versus Vecchun.
Yeah, Nice. He was trying to make his Oracle work. It looks like the Oracle will not scout that Robo. Meanwhile, that Warp Prism is going across the map for Patience. He has to be careful, though. There are some Stalkers and that Void Ray for defense.
Yeah, he's playing this out as patiently and as carefully as he can. Wants to find that opening, which is why he's not being too forward with his Warp Prism, sending the Observer in instead.
Yeah, exactly. It's fair because he doesn't know if it's a Void Ray or a Phoenix or anything, so he has to be so careful with this Warp Prism to make sure he doesn't lose it needlessly.
And he definitely won't. He's actually bringing his Warp Prism back home. He stopped his he stopped his what's a what I'm thinking of here, like robo production, and now he's working on Blink instead.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like right now, he can see the Void Ray. He can see the Void Rays, I should say. So Immortals are not ideal against that whatsoever. He's looking to switch straight into Blink Stalkers to help deal with the Void Ray count.
Okay, I'm liking this quite a bit actually. And of course, he still does have that row facility available to him. So if this goes into Blink Stalkers and Void Rays versus Blink Stalkers and Immortals, I feel like I have to favor the Immortals.
Yeah, it definitely could. Meanwhile, Nice Patience is being a little bit annoying here, forcing the probes off the mineral line, and immediately backs off.
Yeah, Nice will get a nice eye on that Void Ray, but not really much you can do to press that. Void Rays are fast, but Warp Prisms, they're ever so slightly faster.
Ever so slightly, and also because of this observer, he knows exactly where the Void Rays are, relatively at all times. So because of that, he knows where to avoid, he knows not to overextend, and now finally he's being aggressive with these Stalkers, and Blink is about to finish up.
Literally just 13 seconds away, and he wants to blink straight into the main here, Light. At least that's what it's looking like.
Yeah.
I think he's just gonna pull together his army.
I think he wants to bait the army a little bit. He forces it to go up. Oh, he's not too sure where to go.
Yeah, really gonna pay Nice here to not take the bait. Also really loving that stasis warp positioning. Patience backing away once more. Again, losing that observer means he has a lot less vision available to him. Does not want to take unnecessary risks, which is crazy for me to say. I mean, just a month ago, I never thought I would say Patience is being careful.
Yeah, Patience, that's exactly what he's being. Like, he sees the army, he saw it with his observer, he's like, I don't think I can fight this. Like, there's too much here. There's all these shield batteries, there's the Void Rays, there's the sentries. I'm just going to avoid this, and he went back home. He's focusing on his pro production, he's focusing on his macro instead.
What has Gengar done to him? Gengar Force Manager for Good Game Gaming.
God damn, Good Game Gaming kind of like reining Patience in a little bit. We may be speaking too soon, as like he is coming out here with this Warp Prism, looking to try and find some damage, sneaking past and avoiding all these stasis wards.
Yeah, but again, just wanting to make sure he has a complete picture of what he's going at before committing.
Yeah, and I don't blame him, and he actually expands and takes the third behind this.
We're going into Charged Archon?
We're heading into...
I did not expect Nice versus Patience to be our longest PvP so far.
Right? And that's exactly what this is going to be. Both players are getting into the mid game. Like, sure, there's a bit of harassing here and there. These adepts should be going down. Oh my god, Patience fighting with the probes a little bit.
Ouch. Alright, well, a little bit of the old Patience shining through here.
But as you said, so we are going to have Charged Archon coming out from Patience. Meanwhile, Nice is working on his own Blink, and so far it looks like he is going for a more Blink-heavy Immortal style here.
This is the most anti-army I think you can come up with as a Protoss player. A couple of disruptors will just, sort of complete the picture here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whereas Patience kind of going for an anti-armor or anti-armor army.
This is kind of scary. So we do see Nice is pushing out. He does have 3 Immortals with this army. Oh, it does get spotted by the Haluk.
Now we're gonna have to look and see how good Patience can be at defense. Already picking up a couple of these Stalkers for Nice. Whatever you can do to weaken your opponent before the main engagement happens. If Patience can force Nice into his choke point, those Archons are going to deal a lot with their splash.
Yeah, exactly, and whoever goes through this choke point is going to come out worse when it comes to the engagement. There is an arc ready and waiting on either side. Nice being a little bit... Okay, he decides to push on forward.
And he makes it through the choke. Actually starting to get a bit of a nice arc. But Patience is getting a little bit of the upper hand here. The Archons are trying to get their splash damage in, but it's not as effective versus Stalkers. Still, though, looks like they're dealing quite a bit. The Void Race in the sky, massive threat right now for Patience. But it looks like he's getting a little bit of the upper hand with the ground army.
Yeah, just in time that Zealot Warpin was able to come in clutch as the Archons were being taken out for Patience, and with that, he was just able to push away the army of Nice. Nice just barely keeping his Immortals alive.
Really living up to the name there. The Zealots are, I don't want to say they're underrated, but you cannot overstate how important they are for Patience. If he tries to commit into more, if he tries to commit into more Stalker Immortals here, he just straight out loses, Nice already has a good number of Immortals and Stalkers, plus he has those Void Rays. Instead, Patience just going for the complete counter to Immortals.
Yeah, and Patience, he was out of position. His main army is outside his natural, and that gives the opportunity for Nice to blink straight into the main base.
He does not want to lose that pylon. It is keeping so many of his gateways powered. And that's really the backbone of Patience right now. He is committed to a more gateway-focused style, especially with Zealots. And I feel like this is just the right angle for Nice to at least take the advantage.
Yeah, Patience, he just dove in. He sniped the Warp Prism of Nice, so no more reinforcements. A couple more weapons, but GG gets caught. Nice runs out of steam.
That he does. GG is called. He was aware of the third base, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, with the Huluk.
All right, yeah. And that was what was going to be the downfall. I only just noticed towards the end that Nice had not expanded. He was going for a straight 2-base all-in.
He was, and it was so clutch. I don't know if you saw there where Patience, he just blinked forward and just focused out that Warp Prism. He knew that was like part of his win condition, right? Because then Nice cannot reinforce.
That he could not. Man, things are looking pretty dicey, not gonna lie. But
oh yeah,
as you said, keeping up Warp Prism alive was absolutely key for Nice. He needed to at least keep up the fight over there.
Yeah, and honestly, Nice's army movement was arguably better than Patience. There were a couple of moments like when he first got through that choke point, like Patience kind of allowed him to take that position, whereas Patience should have been like a little bit more like assertive there. And yeah, just finding a way into that main base when Patience, he was not ready for that whatsoever.
But I tell you what, like, all comes back to that pylon. Was alive for a couple seconds too long. And with it, Patience had a couple more weapons. I don't think he actually utilized those gateways.
Oh god. Regardless, GG. Patience did take game 1. We'll see what Patience has in store for us here.
Yeah, and honestly, how would I describe this game? It was not at all what I was expecting from a Nice versus Patience game. Obviously, Patience did start with that Immortal proxy, but we saw some very, I don't want to say competent, but very reactive decision-making coming out from Patience, which worked out real well and gave us a bit of a longer macro game.
I would say very calculated. I would
calculated. That's the word.
Yeah, very calculated. Like he kind of sussed out the situation. He saw what he was up against, and he's like, okay, I'm not going to commit here. I can do better than that.
And do better he could. And let's see if he can do even better here on Romanticide. LE, of course, standing for Lovers. Lovers equations. That's when you do the calculations, because, you love them. In the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left-hand corner, the red Protoss player coming down from the land of Seoul, originally from Jeju Island. He is a bit of a madman, but showing a bit more restraint today. How long is he gonna, continue to be restrained? He is representing Good Game Gaming, GGG, Patience.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the Taiwanese Protoss. He is blue, representing Team Alpha X. Already down 0-1 in this best of 3. Can he bring it back? It is Nice. I have to wonder, depending on how obviously this series goes, if we see Patience on Lightshade more in these PvPs, is he just going to keep going for the proxy robo? Is he?
I feel like he has to. I feel like he made a pact with his dream self or something like that. And he says, all right, I have to do nothing but proxy immortals on Light Shade today.
Yeah, he has a bit of trauma from from that dream, and he has to keep his end of the bargain.
I'm just going to continue to proxy even more. Is it going to be a robo this time?
Ooh.
It will not be. Okay, just a gateway.
Yeah, looking to be aggressive with these stalkers, as he did open up with 2 gates here on the other side of the map, and Nice being very bold, going for the wall on the low ground as opposed to in the main.
Yeah, obviously the main downside here, you are putting a lot of your tech very vulnerable to your opponent, but if it works out for you, you're going to be up a base, you're going to be looking so good economically.
Exactly.
If you can hold here.
This is a much more greedy opening, if you will, right? Where the tech buildings, you don't have that high ground advantage, you are expanding, spending your resources there, and that does mean that, you know, he is vulnerable to this aggression, but will he scout? Oh,
he's going to get scouted!
He saw the pylon.
Sees the pylon and confirms the gateway.
Oh boy.
And this is how you make sure that your low ground gamble pays off.
Exactly. This spot right here is so common to be abused or to be used as a proxy, and the pylon, it's vulnerable.
Super vulnerable. You thought Nice had his buildings vulnerable. In the end, it was actually Patience.
Oh my god, Patience. He does go around with his 2 additional stalkers and already focusing down the stalker of Nice.
Takes it out before Shield Battery can really have a say in that. And now this is Adept, giving them quite a bit of trouble here. Adepts don't do too much damage against Stalkers, but at the same time, Stalkers don't do a lot of damage against Adepts either. And when you have a Shield Battery backing you up.
Exactly, and this is terrifying because now Warp Gate is done. We do have 3 gateways powered, 4 Patience, 3 Stalkers being warped in at a time.
Now, Nice just needs to buy himself as much time as he can. He's already working on an Immortal. Dark Shrine follow-up coming out from Patience.
Ooh. Bold choice by Patience.
That pays off.
Oh god, Overcharge was used, but it's not enough. Like, the Stalkers are dealing too much damage to the Stalkers of Nice, at least. They both did go down. The Adept is trying to stand strong.
And stand strong it does. Again, this Adept doesn't really need to do much as long as it's able to buy time for more Stalkers and especially this Immortal to come out. Patience did warp into Zealot to try to tank the Immortal shots. I'm actually really liking the Zealot idea. Immediately popping the Guardian Shell of the Immortal. Patience trying to go right for it, but the Stalker's doing such a good job body blocking. This Immortal will go down, but now it's only 4 Stalkers left for Patience. That might be just enough, though.
Yeah.
Shield Batteries are out of energy. Nice is only warping in 2 at a time.
Oh, and this isn't even his final form. Like, after this, the Dark Shrine is going to finish up and DT is going to come in.
That they will. I mean, there is the opportunity for Nice to get some Observers out, but if he does that, then he sacrifices the Immortals. Adept's doing such a good job of dragging Nice away from his mineral line.
Exactly, and just like that, more probes are going down. Very little mining happening for Nice. To be fair, Nice does have a Robo, as you said, so he does have the opportunity to throw down or create an Observer, or he even fully walls off.
Oh, that is what you want against the DTs. 100%. He doesn't know about them.
He doesn't.
He knows he's up against Patience. Something is coming his way. And actually, again, what we said about buildings being very vulnerable, it's also harder for your own units to get out there. Again, a lot of these Protoss units have limited range.
Exactly, and what's so important is that he needs to keep that pylon alive. Otherwise, if the pylon goes down, no more Observers.
He's targeting it down, and he's trying to corner out the Observer, but it's not gonna work. GG is called. Patience. This is the second time things look really bad for him, but then DT saved the day. GG. Will be your semifinalist, or one of your semifinalists for the evening. If Nice couldn't take out Patience in a PvP, who can, Light?
GG. Patience with style, with flair, does take out his opponent in Nice. My god, I love the move with those DTs. Like, he was already doing so well without the DTs, with his Stalker control, with his Adepts, all this stuff, mining time, focusing down Immortals. It was very impressive. And then there was that
notice
finish.
how careful he was being with them. You know, it would have been so easy for him to just spam out the DTs, attack that gateway, and reveal his hand too quickly. But no. He waited until the very last minute before revealing he had DTs, and by then, Nice could have still gotten the Observer out, but by focusing on that pylon, it was too much. It was too much. Zest versus Patience is going to be our first semifinals. Fingers crossed, here's hoping that Zest is going to be able to do better than Nice or Nightmare did, but honestly, like, Nightmare, he is very much known for his PvP. Nice, I thought he'd be able to do well against Patience, considering he has a lot of practice against Haas. Zest is a really damn good player. For a while, one of the best PvP players, but I don't favor him here. I honestly really don't.
Like, Zest is a very solid all-around player, right? You put him up against Terran, you put him up against standard players. But when it comes to something like a PvP, we mentioned it earlier. Nightmare took down Zest a couple of weeks ago. Patience has taken down Zest in the past as well. This is, I would go as far as to say, Zest is his worst matchup. It's the matchup that he needs to work on the most. And to be fair, he's probably aware of it, and he probably has been working on it like over time and over this past like couple of weeks, and that's why, like, especially it's hard. It's kind of hard to call, I would say, between these two.
Yeah, I want to say it's gonna be a 3-2.
Ooh, okay.
Fingers crossed, hopefully, but honestly, I think it's gonna be a 3-1. But who wins it is gonna be a different story. I want to favor Patience here.
Yeah. It's it's just such a weird scenario because there are so many Protosses in this bracket. Like, Patience has a legitimate chance here to win the entire thing, just off his PvP. But again, to be fair, like, Zest and Stats, they are incredibly solid players. They have their micros impeccable, their builds as well. Like, if the game goes on long enough, if we get into the mid game, if we get into the late game, like, I would favor Zest in that scenario. But definitely. can he get there?